Today's toy spot, why we're having a look at the Mattel DC Comics Unlimited, the new 52 Flash. Coming to us from the new DC Comics Unlimited series. Spot picked this up at a local comics store. I know, little iffy. Spot was iffy on the whole 52 series. Although, for some reason, he picks up New 52 Superman, and now he's reviewing New 52 Flash. Spot, you got some explaining to do, sir. Some explaining to do indeed. Even though I'm not a big fan of the New 52 designs, as every character seems to have panel lining to them. Always been a huge fan of the Flash, and I like the overall design of this figure, so that was my reasoning for picking it up. There's a picture of the Flash on the side. When we flip her over the package, the other figures that would have been released in the DC Comics Unlimited series here, we would have had New 52 Superman, New 52 Hawkman. The read-up says, as Barry Allen went about his business in the police crime lab, an electrical storm broke over Central City. Soon the lab exploded with a blinding bolt of lightning, bathing Barry in the supercharged fluids. This random combination of chemicals turned Barry into the fastest man alive. As the Flash and member of the Justice League of America, Allen vowed to use his powers to help humanity and guard Central City with high-velocity vigilance. Real name is Barry Allen, occupation is police chemist, location Central City, powers, abilities, and skills. He can run at light speed, pass through objects, or phase into other dimensions. Fantastic. And even though I don't really like the costumes all that much, that is a really neat image of the Flash. Digging it. What I am going to do is take a break, going to get this opened up, and when we come back, the fastest man alive is up next. Stay tuned, there is definitely more heading your way. Unlike New 52 Superman that came with absolutely no accessories, the Flash actually comes with three accessories. What he does come with is he comes with these electrical energy discharges. Now, if they do look familiar to you, they are in fact been reused from the DC Universe Blue and Red Energy Superman. In the same fashion as those Superman, you can peg them, not really so much peg, but you can clip the energy in the little energy gauntlets to Barry Allen's wrists. And then there's the back piece. There's a big hole in the back of his back. In the back of his back, you know what I'm saying. There's the peg right there, and you just simply peg it into place. I like the fact that at least, if you think this is a little ridiculous, Spot thinks it's maybe a tad ridiculous, you can remove it. It's not something that is permanently affixed to the figure. I think it's a little too much. But, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. I suppose, we have gotten other Flashes, so to have a new 52 Flash with all this extra energy bling, if you will, I suppose it could be a lot worse. But the same problem that I found with the Energy Superman, this piece sits relatively fine, but these pieces don't sit too well. You kind of have to have them higher up on his arm. If you have them too low, they just flop around on the wrist area. So there you have the energy additions, discharges. It's a horrible way to describe them, Spot. Can't take them off, and they're see-through, but as you can see, they are see-through, and they got just a little bit of a yellow coloring to them as well. So that's nice, at least. It's not just this big garish yellow. So removing those, and again, removing the back. If you're not too bothered by the fact that Flash is going to have this big hole in his back with little pegs, there you go. Having a look at the actual figure, I like it. And the same thing I'm said with Superman, I can say with Flash, though I don't like the designs necessarily in the comics. Somehow it translates well into a decent enough figure. Now the figure, it could have easily been darker. It's a little more red than what I was expecting. I think when I initially saw images of this Flash, the costume seemed like it was a little more red, a little darker red. This red is, in camera, I think it looks a little too red, but in person it's a little darker. The face sculpt, from what I can tell, looks like it's a brand new face sculpt. It is also utilizing these new lightning bolt etchings into his face. You can also see he's got a chin guard there. And the chin guard actually is not painted on, it's been sculpted into the face. That's nice. Sometimes, in the past, Mattel, they're guilty for it, I know. In the past, they just simply paint a feature in, just painting it simply over top of an existing mold. Oh, he has a chin guard? Yeah, we'll just paint that in. It doesn't matter that it doesn't look like it's part of his actual mask. We'll just paint it in. The fans will be fine with it. You can see that the lightning bolt etching goes all the way to the back of his head. Kind of forms into a point there. He's got, doesn't really look like he's got any other panel lining going through the rest of his body. However, he does have, if I zoom in here, he does have a raised Flash logo. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. The raised logo works. And then aside from that, the majority of all the other details are just simply painted in lines. He's got painted in lightning bolts going all over his arms, his chest. He's got it on the side of his body here as well. Kind of down his legs too. I don't know if I necessarily like that. It's almost just a little too much. This kind of coming out from the chest works. Right here works. But then they have all these extra lines, like right by his wrists, his forearms here. It's just like they put that there just for the sake of throwing something. Kind of same thing with the legs. I just don't, not really my thing, but oh well. Again, not a fan comic-wise. As a figure, it's not bad. It's not bad. Then we get down to the boots, and the boots are similar to that of Superman. They are more of an armored kind of boot, as opposed to just strictly, a basic style boot. You can see he's got some treads going on there. Peg holes, though he has no display base that he came with. But essentially, they are still utilizing a basic DC Universe, and not even just a new body mold, because I think we've got like 5 different DC Universe body molds. Ultimately, we just got the very bare basic default body here for Flash. It works fine. I mean, Flash is a little bit bigger of a character, so I can excuse that for the use of this particular figure. Now, in the way of his articulation, being again that he is DC Universe, we all know the breakdown of articulation, but let's go through it again together. He has the articulation in the head where it's a ball joint, so his head goes up and down, left and right. He's got a pin socket shoulders, so they go up, they go forward and back, rotation in the bicep, bend in the elbow, then he's got the rotation in the hand. He's got the upper torso bend, rotation in the waist, legs go forward, back, out, rotation in the thigh, a bend at the knee, bend in the foot. But I mean, you can, being that he is utilizing the same sculpt, same everything else, you can still get some really good poses out of Flash here. Whether I would again use these aspects to it, that's entirely your choice. I think maybe the fact that he is a new 52 Flash and he's a little bit different than the other Flashes that we got in the past. I mean, we have a basic Barry Allen Flash anyways from the original Atom Smasher wave, that to encompass and utilize these extra pieces, I can use them. I can definitely use them, and he's different. he is then different than other Flashes. I also really like the ears that they've put in, the little side lightning bolt fins on the side of his mask. I mean, overall, he's done well. I really don't have many complaints. My complaints stem solely from the fact that I just don't like the overall design of him in the comics. But as a figure, very similar to what I said about Superman, as a figure, he's done well. Flash is a very basic design character, and usually when it translates to a DC Universe figure, he's not a super exciting figure with loads of detail, but he still always comes through with a good, solid figure. New 52 Flash from the new DC Comics Unlimited, I'm going to give him a 7.5. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Universe. DC Unlimited, new 52 Flash. Thanks for watching, as you always do, guys. Certainly stick around. More Toy Spots are heading your way with additional energy. Not likely, but still certainly more heading your way. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.